They say power skips no generation, but what if the youngest Trump just turned it into a game? When global markets trembled after Donald Trump's 100% tariff shock, rumors claimed Barron had already placed a winning move in crypto before anyone saw it coming. From gold leaf nurseries to hidden trades worth millions, his empire is expanding fast. Watch until the end, because the final twist changes everything you thought you knew about him. Trump's 100% tariff shock and Barron's alleged crypto short. When your father is the President of the United States, every market move carries more weight and every whisper becomes a headline. Under the renewed Trump administration, the world once again felt the shock of power when Donald Trump announced a 100% tariff on Chinese imports, sending tremors through global finance. Within hours, crypto markets unraveled. Bitcoin plunged 8.4% to roughly $104,000, and nearly $19 billion in digital assets evaporated overnight. Yet amid the chaos, one name began circulating among private traders and encrypted finance channels: Barron Trump. Now 19, Barron is no ordinary presidential son. His declared net worth sits around $150 million, but insiders insist the real figure is far higher, concealed within complex trusts and offshore partnerships established long before his father's return to the Oval Office. That's why the rumor that Barron may have positioned himself before the tariff shock, allegedly shorting crypto moments before the public announcement, has captivated investors worldwide. The trades, reportedly placed through a Florida-based private digital fund, aligned so precisely with market timing that analysts describe them as mathematically perfect. If the reports are true, a $10 million short position during that 24-hour window could have earned over $30 million in profit, making it one of the boldest and most profitable market reactions of the year. Forbes' October feature hinted that Barron's portfolio had expanded significantly due to strategic digital positioning, fueling speculation that this was no coincidence. What sets him apart isn't just access, it's precision. Over the past 2 years, Barron has built stakes in blockchain infrastructure companies, decentralized energy ventures, and crypto security platforms. One Florida-based clean tech token company alone multiplied his $2 million investment into over $12 million within months. Sources claim his trades mirror institutional discipline, backed by a quiet circle of former hedge fund advisors and legal analysts specializing in digital regulation. In a world where politics and markets now move hand in hand, Barron Trump may represent a new hybrid of influence, where policy becomes profit and information becomes power. Comment "the future heir of power" if you believe this is just the beginning of America's next financial dynasty. Barron's golden beginnings. Born in 2006, Barron Trump entered the world as the youngest and only son of a billionaire family already synonymous with power. His life began not with lullabies, but with city lights reflecting off gold-trimmed ceilings in his Trump Tower nursery, which occupied an entire floor valued at more than $3 million. The room was inspired by Louis XIII's royal chambers, complete with silk drapes, marble floors, and hand-crafted chandeliers imported from Italy. Even his crib wasn't ordinary, it was custom-built, from solid mahogany and lined with embroidered velvet cushions, rumored to have cost nearly $45,000. Every moment of Barron's infancy reflected the Trump family's philosophy: luxury as legacy. His toys came not from store aisles, but from designers. He owned a $10,000 golden stroller that became a tabloid headline when gifted on The Ellen Show, and a $5,000 remote-controlled helicopter from his sister Ivanka, painted in the same shade as the family's private jet. For travel, Barron didn't know car seats or taxis. He knew Boeing 757 leather cabins, plush enough for naps above the clouds. When weekends arrived, the destination was Mar-a-Lago, the Trump family's Palm Beach estate, estimated at over $300 million. There, Barron's playroom mirrored the mansion's grand design, a miniature replica with gilded staircases, mirrored halls, and even a small fountain in its center. Staff remembered him chasing toy cars across imported Persian rugs, while chefs prepared meals approved personally by Melania. Public appearances were rare but unforgettable. At age 4, he arrived at a private tea event aboard a $10 million Sikorsky helicopter, his name embroidered on his blazer. The tabloids called him America's baby prince, a child whose everyday surroundings looked more like a movie set than a nursery. His $50,000 christening celebration featured caviar canapes, violin quartets, and monogrammed silk onesies served on silver trays. Yet behind the extravagance was precision. Melania, ever the curator, designed every space and garment to match the family's image. Elegance without chaos, grandeur with control. Barron wasn't simply raised in comfort, he was raised in choreography. Every hallway he walked, every photograph he appeared in, projected a future not just of inheritance, but of expectation. Even in childhood, his world was already a blueprint for empire. The educational empire. Education for Barron Trump was never simply about academics. It was a blueprint for control, image, and legacy. Long before he attended any school, Melania Trump transformed the Trump Tower penthouse into a private academy. The living room became a language lab where tutors from Europe rotated weekly, teaching Slovenian, French, and business vocabulary. One linguistic coach earned $155,000 per month, a cost that rivaled executive salaries on Wall Street. Lessons often blended etiquette with economics. How to greet diplomats in 3 languages, how to read real estate blueprints, and how to recognize leadership before speaking a word. At age 6, Barron's official education began at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in Manhattan, one of the oldest and most elite institutions in the United States. The $40,000 annual tuition included access to advanced science labs, art studios, and a private rooftop observatory. For most students, the building was school. For Barron, it was another extension of his family's empire, chauffeured each morning in a $250,000 armored Cadillac Escalade, escorted by security detail that drew more attention than celebrity arrivals. His education shifted to St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland during the White House years, chosen for its focus on normalcy. Even there, nothing was ordinary. Secret Service agents blended into hallways, scanning classrooms, and a small command post was built on campus for real-time monitoring. Tuition was $50,000 per year, but additional costs for security logistics reportedly exceeded that figure tenfold. Barron played soccer, led a history group on Roman empires, and won a local science fair with a $2,000 solar generator project praised by teachers for its precision. By 2021, he enrolled at Oxbridge Academy in Florida, known for its $38,000 tuition and 100% college acceptance rate. There, his curriculum expanded into coding, economics, and debate, a mirror of his father's public persona, but refined through Melania's discretion. He organized a charity bake sale that raised $35,000 for children's hospitals and led a student debate on the ethics of global trade. Each transition was strategic, each setting curated to prepare him not just to think, but to manage. Barron's schooling wasn't about chasing grades. It was about learning influence under watchful eyes. Every classroom, every tutor, every perfectly timed opportunity shaped him into something far more deliberate than a student, an heir being molded for command. The White House Kingdom. Between 2017 and 2021, Barron Trump lived inside what is often called the most powerful address in the world, but for him the White House became something entirely different, a fusion of history, technology, and teenage opulence. While his father managed state affairs downstairs, Barron's personal quarters on the top floor resembled a private penthouse rather than a presidential suite. His bedroom featured LED-lit gaming setups, a $20,000 smart bed imported from Germany, and walls insulated with custom acoustic panels to keep the space silent during late-night strategy games. A $5,000 telescope stood by the window, overlooking the Washington skyline. A gift from Melania meant to remind him that even within the most watched building on Earth, he could still dream beyond its fences. The room next door served as his personal theater, soundproofed with reclining leather seats and a projection system valued at $70,000. Ivanka Trump gifted him a $50,000 Lego model of the White House, which sat under a glass case in the corner, a surreal reflection of the very home he lived in. The Truman balcony, a landmark once used for presidential addresses, became his private launchpad for a $3,000 drone, where he spent weekends testing flight paths under the discreet watch of Secret Service agents. Security at that time reached levels no presidential child had ever experienced. Every hallway Barron walked was shadowed by plainclothes agents, and an underground safe room valued at $1 million was designed specifically for his use during periods of national unrest. The White House pool became his quiet sanctuary, heated year-round, surrounded by staff who ensured no image ever leaked to the press. In 2018, he celebrated his birthday inside the old bowling alley built during the Nixon era, transformed for the occasion with digital scoreboards and customized Barron Trump pins embossed in gold. Guests were limited to close family and a handful of children from elite Washington families. Yet the event cost more than $60,000, complete with a handcrafted cake sculpted like Air Force One. Those years weren't just about privilege, they were about presence. Living where every wall whispered history, Barron learned to blend visibility with control, status with silence. His White House wasn't just a residence, it was a rehearsal for empire. Comment born in power if you believe few childhoods were ever lived under a brighter spotlight. Fashion as power. Fashion has never been a casual choice in the Trump household, it has always been strategy. Under Melania's meticulous eye, Barron Trump turned personal style into one of his most powerful tools. While his peers wore hoodies and sneakers, Barron was being fitted for bespoke suits by Ralph Lauren tailors who charged $12,000 per ensemble. His wardrobe wasn't built for comfort, it was built for legacy. Each outfit told a story of quiet luxury, calculated presentation, and a family that understood how image could build empires. Observers first noticed the transformation at Donald Trump's 2017 inauguration, where Barron appeared in a navy overcoat lined with cashmere and a silk tie crafted in Italy. The look was conservative but deliberate, an echo of Melania's own elegance. Within a year, he was spotted at a private dinner in Palm Beach wearing a Ralph Lauren tuxedo valued at $12,000, paired with a Rolex Submariner worth $15,000. By 2019, his collection had expanded to include a Patek Philippe Nautilus priced at $35,000, an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak at $25,000, and the crown jewel, a Cartier Santos valued at $115,000, gifted by Eric Trump for his 16th birthday. Barron's fashion evolution wasn't about extravagance, it was about refinement. His daily wardrobe blended streetwear and couture. Montclair bomber jackets costing $1,500, Goyard backpacks valued at $2,000, and New Balance sneakers customized at $200 a pair. Every piece was curated by Melania herself, who viewed style as both armor and language. She instructed him to dress with silence, believing that true sophistication should speak before a word is said. Public fascination peaked during the Mar-a-Lago Easter Gala, where Barron appeared in a $5,000 tailored suit with subtle gold cufflinks and a perfectly fitted pocket square. The photographs went viral, not for flamboyance, but for restraint. He wasn't dressed to impress, he was dressed to command attention without effort. Fashion critics began calling him Millennial 2, praising his ability to merge old money composure with modern youth. Each appearance became a calculated event, generating millions of online impressions and redefining the visual narrative of the Trump name. Through fabric, tailoring, and timing, Barron mastered something few his age could, the art of turning style into influence and influence into silent power. The trillionaire transition. By 2024, Barron Trump had stepped into adulthood not as a celebrity heir, but as a calculated young magnate overseeing a $60 million portfolio. His investments stretched across technology, real estate, and private equity, sectors that defined America's modern elite. At the center of his holdings stood a $19 million estate in Bedminster, New Jersey, a sprawling property featuring a 9-bedroom mansion, indoor pool, and equestrian stables. Just miles away from his father's golf club, it served as both sanctuary and statement, a symbol that the Trump legacy was already transferring to its next generation. In Florida, Barron's second residence, a $1 million mansion near Mar-a-Lago, offered him independence within reach of his family's empire. The home's minimalist design mirrored his mother's aesthetic. White marble interiors, floor-to-ceiling glass, and imported European furniture worth over $300,000. Security was discreet but advanced, using biometric gates and a private guard rotation, reportedly costing $200,000 annually. His financial portfolio revealed equal precision. Sources close to the family confirmed ownership stakes in Amazon, Tesla, and Apple acquired through structured family trusts. Each move reflected a long-term strategy, buying into innovation, not speculation. Analysts estimated that these equity positions alone generated over $4 million in passive gains during 2024's market recovery. That same year, Barron celebrated his 18th birthday at Mar-a-Lago, hosting a $100,000 gala attended by a small circle of friends and global heirs. The highlight wasn't the fireworks or the Trump Tower-shaped cake, but a $90,000 custom Range Rover, presented by Donald Trump himself, fitted with bullet-resistant glass and bespoke leather interiors. Outside finance, Barron built his persona through intellect and discipline. As captain of Oxbridge Academy's soccer team, he led with composure, having previously trained with DC United's youth division. In 2023, he met Lionel Messi at an exclusive Miami event, sparking viral fascination across sports media. Today, his image blends two worlds, luxury and legacy. Still guarded in speech but deliberate in movement, Barron's adulthood marks the quiet evolution of a family empire, learning to thrive in the hands of its most enigmatic heir. Market intelligence and financial ascendancy. By late 2025, Barron Trump's financial world had evolved far beyond inheritance. It had become a calculated system of strategy and timing. Following the rumors surrounding his alleged crypto short during the tariff crisis, market analysts began tracking his movements with the same scrutiny once reserved for hedge fund billionaires. Reports indicated that Barron's portfolio, now valued at over $150 million, had diversified into digital assets, tech equities, and private investment funds headquartered in Florida. These funds, operating under discrete management firms, handled both equity and blockchain ventures, suggesting a sophistication unusual for an investor his age. Insiders described his approach as a shadow fund strategy, a model that mirrors global markets while quietly anticipating political shifts. Instead of chasing volatility, Barron reportedly invests through structured derivatives that react to policy announcements. When his father introduced new tariffs in October 2025, those derivatives surged, yielding estimated gains in the range of $25 to $30 million within a week. To financial observers, the pattern seemed deliberate, a methodical alignment between family influence and market intelligence. Beyond crypto, Barron's portfolio reflects a strong tilt toward technology infrastructure and clean energy startups, sectors attracting elite investors from Silicon Valley to Dubai. One such company, a Florida-based blockchain energy platform, saw its valuation rise from $80 million to over $300 million after institutional adoption, reportedly multiplying Barron's early stake fivefold. In parallel, he expanded into high-value art funds and collectible tech assets, including early edition digital artworks valued at over $2 million, pieces curated for both prestige and long-term liquidity. Financial advisors close to the family have noted Barron's unusual discipline for someone barely 20. His trading patterns show restraint, limited leverage, timed exits, and heavy reinvestment into secure indexes like the S&P 500 and Nasdaq blue chips. He seems to view wealth not as noise, but as infrastructure, a foundation to control rather than flaunt. In a landscape dominated by impulsive speculation, Barron's quiet precision stands out. Whether coincidence or calculation, his rise signals a generational shift, from inherited opulence to engineered wealth. For a family long defined by spectacle, his silence might just be its most profitable strategy yet. Legacy of power and control. Power for Barron Trump has never been inherited, it's been rehearsed. From his earliest years surrounded by gold ceilings and disciplined silence to his quiet entry into finance, every stage of his life reads like the construction of a modern dynasty. What began as the grandeur of real estate under his father has now evolved into something far more intangible, influence economics, where reputation itself becomes an asset. Barron's fortune, now estimated at over $150 million, no longer rests in buildings and branding. It moves through private equity funds, digital markets, and institutional partnerships that operate far from public view. Observers describe him as the embodiment of a new class of heirs, young, guarded, and algorithmically precise. He rarely gives interviews, yet every public appearance, from the $19 million Bedminster estate to discreet arrivals at tech summits in Miami, fuels speculation about his growing reach. Unlike previous generations of Trumps who built towers and casinos, Barron's empire is being architected in silence through data, strategy, and access. Inside those networks, his advisors reportedly include both former Wall Street analysts and global fund managers. The focus? Asset control, not expansion. One source claimed his portfolio's liquidity is designed so that any position, be it in tech, luxury commodities, or crypto, can be converted within 48 hours. That level of agility is unheard of among legacy heirs, where wealth often moves slower than reputation. But the quietest part of his story is also the most revealing. Insiders say Barron is deeply involved in philanthropic development funds targeting education and sustainability, projects structured less as charity and more as influence diplomacy. Through them, he's building soft power while preserving a family image increasingly tied to intellect rather than spectacle. For those watching closely, it's clear that Barron Trump represents more than the continuation of a name, he's the recalibration of it. The dynasty that once built skyscrapers is now building networks, algorithms, and narratives. And as his influence deepens, the question isn't whether he'll follow in his father's footsteps, it's whether he'll surpass them in silence. Comment "the next dynasty" if you believe Barron is already shaping America's next chapter of wealth and power. From luxury estates to rumored market timing, Barron Trump's story isn't just about wealth. It's about precision, privilege, and quiet influence. At only 19, he's redefining what it means to be born into power, transforming legacy into leverage. And this is just the beginning. If you enjoyed uncovering the untold layers of America's youngest heir, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell, because in part 2 we'll reveal how his next move could reshape the Trump family's empire forever.